how the importance of parenting roles. I know that this is, this podcast is all about parenting. It's all about how to support your children best. I just wanted to say a couple of things about that. Like I know from my own children the importance that, it really is so important to have the best relationship you can have. I know no matter how bad the day is and no matter what challenges you're going through, it's really, really important to take that time and just spend it with the kids and really listen to what they're going through, because energy in a home is so important.
Just a little taster of what is coming up on the show. But first, please do like this video and subscribe to the channel, and also tell your friends and family about this podcast. Please let us know in the comments if you would like to hear any particular topic in relation to sleep or health, and I will create a show especially for you, just for asking the question. So let's get on with the show.
Before we start today's video, please be sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you don't miss out on any new videos.
Hello everybody again, and you're very, very welcome back to a very exciting Empowering Family Health podcast. Today on the show, I have an incredible guest, Karina Murray, and oh my God, I am so excited to speak to Karina today. She's all about the youth and empowering them. Let me read out Karina Murray's bio before we get started and dive into our conversation. Karina Murray is the founder and director at Aunua Global. It's a social impact enterprise. She's an entrepreneur, philanthropist, a youth advocate. Oh my God, she's an innovator. What else? An advocate, an ambassador. And her mission and the mission of Aunua Global is to improve awareness and understanding of mental health and well-being for the youth of today. And at Aunua Global, Aunua Global provides a stage for the youth to shine and share their message to the world. Oh my God, I'm already inspired. Karina, rather, you're very welcome to the podcast.
It's great to be with you again, Joanne. It's been a while, and I've been following what you're doing as well. So I think that the work you do is amazing. It's so important, so I think we go back a bit now. We would have done some. You would have been done some talk with Aunua at one stage as well, which was
some videos.
Really great.
Up on your platform. People can view that on YouTube, and on your platform.
Absolutely.
But Karina, I've worked many years ago. We've worked together, and we've known each other for a number of years now at this point. But sometimes relationships can kind of part, and then we come back together again. And you popped up on my social media feed a few weeks ago, and I said, the work that Karina is doing, I really need to have her on this podcast, because this podcast is all about empowering families, empowering parents and children. And oh my God, this conversation today that we're going to have is all about creating this awareness and this understanding of mental health, and well-being for the young people, for our children. And what a topic, because we are faced with a lot of adversity. There's a lot of suffering and struggling that families and children are encountering these days, and especially after post-pandemic as well. I mean, whatever we've had before that, but there's a lot, and I know the suicide rates are through the roof, mental health, it's through the roof, and it's getting worse. It's not getting better. So, Karina, we're going to have a conversation today that will hopefully help to shed a light on this topic and really help to empower people that there is a choice, there is something that you can do inside your family. So before we dive in, Karina, I'm really curious, tell the audience a little bit about your background and why you are all these amazing things, stand for the youth and families.
I suppose going back, really it's quite incredible what you can actually do, and it's quite what you can make possible. Like everything starts with the seed of an idea. And I suppose I spent 9 years at home with my two children in that safety bubble of parenting, never wanting to leave that bubble. And it was really quite incredible during those years. Really spending that time with my kids really taught me more than anything else, and children do teach us the biggest lessons and the most things ever than anybody else. So my little guides have been my inspiration along. Now they're 11 and 15, my two children, and it's amazing. And I think really where everything started with was, I suppose my children were, were my life at that time. And I suppose coming out of that bubble, I realized when my little boy started school at 5, I needed to reinvent myself. And that was kind of, that's kind of tough to get through, because obviously you're trying to figure out, okay, where do I go from here after that long break? And how do I reinvent myself? What do I do? So I suppose starting out, I thought I needed to go on a personal development journey for myself to discover myself again, because you lose a lot of that. I suppose as a parent, your children consume your time and attention, and you do really kind of, and you're so caught up in that world, and that, eventually then, there is a reality check that you get to a stage where you go, okay, they're not as dependent on me. I need to find my way back to who I was. And that realization really kind of came back with, I had to start with me first. And that's where I kind of came up with a new you. And a new you, Aunua, often people ask me, where did it come from? Aunua is a play on words for anew. So I was looking for a new me and decided, okay, what are the steps I needed to take to get there? And it's all about self-belief. We all need to believe in ourselves and find a way back. But we don't always have that self-belief, so we need to borrow it. So I think it's really important to kind of look to people that can actually help lift us up and help encourage us to find the best in ourselves, because we don't sometimes see that. So that was very important. And I suppose really kind of engaging with people that make you feel good about yourself and feel like you've got, put some value in you. And I think that's where everything starts. So self-belief, being more kind of mindful about the changes that you need to make. So mindfulness and more self-awareness and just understanding what you can do. And I suppose
the ability to rest is the body's key to healing. Do you struggle with getting asleep at nighttime, or staying asleep during the night and waking up the next morning feeling absolutely exhausted? My book, How to Get a Good Night's Sleep, is easy to understand. It's solution-based and it's packed with research to help you take back control of your night's sleep. My book is available on Amazon, and it's also available on howtogetagoodnightsleep.com. This book is also available in audio and ebook. So get your copy today and start having the best night's sleep that you've only ever dreamed of.
Aunua was all about initially empowering women, and then it evolved to something different along route. So I had some amazing people that really kind of helped inspire me, and really shared a lot of their their learnings, a lot of things I've learned from so many people around me. And then I just took a lot of a lot of inspiration for the people. Thought, okay, well, starting out with Aunua for grown-ups was really important. But I knew then, going through that time, that our children do have so many challenges. Sorry, my dog is actually, I'm leaning over this way. Are we recorded by video? I'm leaning over here. My dog is in the way. I'm like this.
Oh God, they're important, aren't they?
Look here.
Dog's happy.
So basically, my direction changed when it was a good friend of mine. Her little boy was struggling with mental health issues. And I just realized I'm going down the wrong track here. I know that, we need a lot of support as grown-ups, but our children are really suffering, really struggling. And that really kind of was where I realized I need to do something about this. So I thought, well, listen, I built a team before and ran out talks and done events and things throughout the time when I launched Aunua. And then I thought, okay, well, I'll focus on children and look at seeing if we can put together a program and start enrolling people and getting them involved. Because I suppose what really happened was, when you see somebody struggling and you see that, like, it's a little child, like this little boy was only 11 and he was really struggling so much with mental health, I realized this is so disturbing. I've got 2 children. This is what's, this children are feeling so, so unsure of themselves and so sad. And there's a lot of, I know that we look at a system, and I know we said we talk about this. I think it's really important that we talk about the system, and that children have a lot of outside influences, but they go to school to learn. And that heavy sort of learning is, not serving our children. It's not really preparing them for the world that they are facing. There's a lot of uncertainty and a lot of fears and worries as parents. And we know that the current environment that they're in school can have a huge impact on on who they, how they view the world and
who they think they are themselves.
Yeah, exactly. So, that little boy really did inspire me. And I realized, okay, I need to build the best team I could possibly find. I hadn't got a background in education or mental health. But I knew one thing. I knew that I had to do something to try and bring the best people together.
Wow.
So I reached out everywhere and spoke to everybody. I just picked up the phone, messaged everybody, start really kind of coming out of myself because I felt compelled to do something. It was like something took over. I can't really explain it now, but I remember standing in my kitchen one day and asking myself, what would I do? What would I be if I could be anybody and do anything? I thought, if I could wish to do something, I'd love to be able to set up a charity, an organization to be able to help children. And it was really kind of an overwhelming feeling that I had. But I thought to myself, how does anybody like me become that person? And I put it out of my mind, thought, that's never going to happen. That's, that those sort of things don't happen to people like me. How would I go about it? But whatever I did put out there in the universe, obviously came back to me, because it was like it was like the path was being, paved. It was like, it was like everything I did, and it's taken a long time, taken over 5 years now, but it has been a real labor of love, a real mission, and I've never looked back. I just keep looking forward. And I think when you really feel passionate about something, you really need to just get the people that share your vision, keep talking about it, keep believing in it. And, once you've got a mission that's for good, really good things you do attract good things and good people. And I've been really blessed. I've got amazing people working with me now. Aunua Global has formed from, and I know we spoke about Aunua Academy, which is all about the mental health piece, emotional well-being of children and youth. But it's more than that. I think we need to start looking at changing the narrative and start thinking differently about mental health. We need to focus on something more. That's why I hope that the whole thing about Aunua now has become something greater. It's about how do we empower children and young people to see their value, to give them something really, to understand the greater vision of what life could be for them.
And no matter how that,
yeah, exactly. Absolutely. And that there is opportunities and there's ways that they can shine in this world, and they can share and they can be part of something really way bigger. And there is lots of opportunities for them to be able to be heard, and that platform for me has grown so much because with the amazing people that have come on board and really kind of got behind the whole vision and shared the mission. And I suppose that's when you start kind of seeing the magic happening, is when you collaborate with other people. It's really important that we work together. It's a very big problem, so it's going to need a very big community to solve the problem. And really, it's amazing what's possible when you really do have those networks and those sort of frameworks in place, that you actually realize, okay, now we've got something, now we can do something with this, now we can
now everyone comes together, because the nature of human beings is to help each other. That's what the nature is, and that's what lights us up, and that makes us, it gives us the serotonin and the dopamine and all that sort that makes us feel good, and it's good for our mental health to help each other, right? But I believe that in the world that we're living in, there's this emphasis or this belief of having more to make us feel safe. And it's that very feeling of needing more is coming from a place of lack, of not feeling safe, really, so it's it's counterintuitive, really, and as human beings, we need to help each other. And that's where, like, even if you if you open up a door for somebody, for an older person, and they say thank you, bless you, or whatever, and it makes you feel amazing, it makes you feel really great, and it has that impact, that ripple impact throughout the rest of the day. There's a lot you said, Karina, that I want to unpack, and it's just so great. And before I pressed record, we were saying, God, Karina, what are you up to? You have your hand in so many pies, and where do you get your energy from, and blah blah blah. And you mentioned passion, you mentioned the word passion, and I really just picked up on that, because when we have the passion for something that we really want, and you asked yourself, if you could do it, what would you do? You asked yourself that one empowering question, and the passion that you have, and you identified with your values. You mentioned about values as well, and we'll expand on that a little bit more in a minute. But you mentioned that it was a value of yours, and something that you really wanted. And when we're aligned with those values, this is where we get the energy. And this is where our passion and our ability to do, and, to do what needs to be done to make something happen, make something work. So I really admire you for that, and for really being aligned and identifying and knowing what it is that you want and that makes you happy, and identifying what's needed in the world, and especially for our children. And I also heard you saying about empowering women. That was something that you said as well when you were on your journey to find the new you. And you mentioned about empowering women, and for decades women have lost their power. That's the way that was the culture in society, over years. But women's power is coming back, and women do so much in the family unit. And look, fathers are good as well, but I think women are naturally nurturing. That more feminine aspect. And you mentioned as well, when you were rearing your two children, that you were giving them everything. And now that they're grown up, it's like, okay, now I have a chance to find myself. What am I going to do with myself now? Mm-hmm. And this is true for so many mothers, that we give so much to our kids that we actually forget about ourselves. And I think this is something that's really important. We need to be more compassionate about ourselves, and fill ourselves back up with the energy and make ourselves feel important. And I believe this is what's missing for many mothers in our society. And something else that you mentioned as well, and we'll move on, is that when parents are filled up, when they are aligned with their values, and when they can be at their best, then I believe that children naturally benefit from this as well. Yes, we can teach our children things, but I believe myself that parents can have a massive influence. So it's really important that parents practice self-care. That's what I wanted to say. So Karina, tell us, you also have a roar program.
Yes. Yeah. I just wanted, before you go any further, I'd love to just go back to what you said there, because you said some really important things. And I suppose that, when you recap on certain things that I'd said, it's like, oh gosh, yeah, I said that. But I really feel it's important just to kind of talk a little bit more about the importance of parenting roles. I know that this podcast is all about parenting. It's all about how to support your children best. I just wanted to say a couple of things about that. Like, I know from my own children, the importance that, it really is so important to have the best relationship you can have. I know no matter how bad the day is, and no matter what challenges you're going through, it's really, really important to take that time and just spend it with the kids and really listen to what they're going through, because energy in a home is so important. And, the environment that we, apologies, my dog.
But he's having his voice been heard anyway.
Oh, always, yeah. Come here. But yeah, it's just like having that time with the kids and just spending time really listening to them and what's going on in their lives, because they really do have so much to say. And like my little boy now, he's 11, and he's quite the character, but he's quite a emotional, empathetic child, very sensitive. And I think that and my daughter too, and they're so amazing. And sometimes they're like counselors themselves. They've learned stuff. We were talking about this, things that the kids pick up from us. Yeah. But we know everything we do and all the influence that we bring to these kids and all that we're instilling in them. Sorry. He's seen somebody outside the window. No, he's seen somebody outside the window, so that's he's whining. Yeah, but his grants are gone. So basically, just having that time with our kids and really spending time listening to them. It makes
them feel heard and acknowledged, doesn't it?
Yeah, and they're little people.
Yeah, because parents are so busy these days, with work demands, family demands, washing the clothes, getting the dinner, that we forget to give our kids attention, just sit down and just be with our children.
Yeah, absolutely. And those conversations that we have, and the kind of, we are their role models. Yes. And we have it really is important that we instill those good values. And I think so many parents, it's tough on parents because there's so many pressures on financially and, with relationships and work and all different types of pressures that families have. But that those pressures that we have and we carry, they can, obviously reflect and really cause an energy and a vibe in a house. I think it's really important just to really kind of spend time just talking about those things, and don't really, don't brush them, talk about them, being open and honest, because you'd be surprised how, rather than trying to ignore things and saying, listen, I'm having a bad day and I'm really sorry if I'm having a go at you, or this, and just really just communicating that, just so that they feel that they're being, they have an understanding that we're all parents, we're allowed to make mistakes, we're allowed to,
we're human beings too.
Exactly, absolutely. And those things are allowed. But when we acknowledge that and we actually take responsibility and it really trying to say, and work with them, it'd be amazed how they can really kind of help bring you around, and and can be so good for them.
I also believe that it's very important to let our children know that it's okay to be sad. It's actually okay to be sad. It's part of, it's part of our well-being,
So true.
And to let our children see us crying, to let our children see us being angry, but then afterwards come back to our children and explain what happened, why I was angry or whatever. And you're also teaching your children then how to regulate, and to identify when they're feeling angry as well, because you've assessed your own situation, and this can influence your children, how they're feeling and behaving. And the worst thing we can do is tell our children, be quiet or stop talking, or because we're actually shutting down their expression.
Yes. Yeah.
And this is crucial. And, I really believe that, our children, if they have something to say, they're little people, as you say, and they have feelings. And every feeling that you're having is real. There's no such thing as don't be silly if you're feeling sad. Don't be silly. Oh my God, because
I know.
Is real.
It's so true. And like that's it. It's so important that we recognize that if they, if they're like get upset about something, or if they're crying or something, it's like years ago, it was so wrong the way boys were supposed to be a certain way and supposed to be stronger and not cry. It's really important that we recognize and say, yeah, listen, it's perfectly okay. And just to kind of really support them through that, because suppressing emotions is the worst thing you can do with a child, and every child is different, of a different way of communicating how they do feel. But listen, it's great the work you're doing with families, and I think that families really do need support more than ever. I think really just kind of finding any type of supports you can get, because parenting doesn't come with an instruction manual. It's the
hardest job, according to me, anyway.
Totally, absolutely, yeah. And I think with me, with Aunua, I think really what I always want to do is work from home as much as possibly, be there for the kids. And I think that, this kind of allowed me to do that in a lot of ways as well, to be there for them, because there's so many things that, I know it's very hard for parents as well, leaving their kids and all that. But I think that can be really difficult too, the choices we make and what we, the different challenges that we face too with that. But I suppose, it'd be really great, I suppose, to talk about, there is something you mentioned there a while ago about a program that we're running at the moment. And I'd love people to kind of to check out the work we're doing with Aunua. There's one at the minute, and it's all about empowering children and young people with creativity, to be able to, empowering them to use their creativity as a way to make an impact in the world. And the project we're working on at the moment is called Positive Vibes. And it's called, it's all about... you
have so many projects, my God.
Well, this is really, really important at the moment. So I think there's so much, like we look at therapy and a lot of different ways that, especially like how can we support, young people and give them, I think art and creativity is really, really important to really kind of encourage and nurture in young people. And I think that there is a lot of studies done that creativity and kind of nurturing that in kids and young people is really, really important, and it is a form of therapy. And I think really with art, creativity, what's happening with this particular project we're able to do now is kind of work with young people, give them an opportunity to paint a picture, draw a picture, write a poem, and be able to take part as an Aunua hero, one of our Aunua heroes that are basically contributing to in to the cause. And basically what happens with this particular project and campaign is that their picture then becomes part of, can be uploaded and be sold as an NFT to help raise funds for impact initiatives and initiatives that we're working with. So we're working with some really incredible causes, like children that are suffering in different parts of the world, from refugee centers where kids have been displaced, from orphanages in different parts of Africa, and empowering girls in Afghanistan. And there's different projects we're working on at the moment as part of this, all sub campaigns. But what the amazing thing about it is, imagine if we were able to bring positive vibes into schools and say to the kids, you know, okay, today you're going to paint a picture, but it's not just a regular picture. This picture is going to help make an impact in the world. Imagine usually a picture has got no connection. They might go and hang it up on the wall at home. They can still keep their original picture. But imagine the teacher then took a photograph and uploaded it onto this 3Web platform, which is our partner Impactiverse. It's uploaded there, and then it's sold as a digital piece of art for say €10. And then what happens is, then if it's sold, it turns into an NFT, which is a valuable token. And it also means then that they're actually, that money that's raised through that way means that we're able to bring in art supplies, musical instruments, educational supplies into, say, an orphanage in Uganda. Wow. And now we're empowering these kids to know, and obviously giving them a sense of, could you imagine a refugee center in Syria and receiving all of these amazing art supplies and musical instruments? Now they're actually thinking, okay, the rest of the world actually does care about me, that they're not just left behind, because that's really what's happening here. But also gives our children here in the Western world an opportunity to feel a sense of value and purpose, and that they are actually making a difference in the world, that their voice does matter, and their images, their creativity does matter, and they are making a difference in the world. And they're becoming the heroes our world needs right now. And, you know, it's quite incredible what can be done in this space. I suppose the 3Web is offered as a platform to be able to do that. It's quite simple. And then the difference that that's going to make in the world. But then the kids, say the kids in Syria, can actually have their own positive vibes day where they're doing art and creative things, and they can actually upload them onto this platform, and they can earn money for any activities they want through this campaign. And it's quite amazing. And then it gets even more exciting, because what happens is we're actually holding an event in the metaverse on the 20th of August, which is going to be where it's going to be a festival for youth around the world.
2023, just for
yes, okay, that's it. Where basically these anyone that purchases an NFT will actually get free access into the Metaverse Festival, and all kids will be free into this metaverse. And this is where they'll get to see incredible different artists. They'll be able to go in as avatars. They'll be able to attend festivals, art galleries. They'll be able to see different types of dances and performances, and different people singing from different parts of the world. So it's quite really amazing.
Connecting cultures.
Yes,
that's what I can really hear in all of this.
Absolutely,
and because there's a big divide, them and us, you know, with the culture thing, you know, and it's about connecting and collaborating and coming together despite where we came from, or any challenges that we all have different challenges. Do you know what I mean? And we're all individual, and we're all bio individuals as well, as to say. I can really hear that connection of, it doesn't matter who you are, where you're from.
Yeah,
and just connecting and helping each other. And the child who's creating the art, you're giving them that access to aligning with their true selves, because they're able to connect authentically with themselves with the creativity work, all kind of right brain stuff. And then when they put that up online and they're creating an impact, when you're telling them they're creating an impact to somebody else in the world who needs it, it's helping that child to feel fulfilled and that they're helping. And that's their nature, isn't it? You know, so you're setting the child up for that kind of work, you know, for that kind of lifetime work, really, and giving them the power to help other people. And then in turn, you know, like anyone in the world can do it. And then you're helping the people who have lack of funds, say, you know, who can sell it and buy themselves whatever that's Karina, it's just an all-rounder. It's just a win-win. It's just amazing.
It is, absolutely. And like, we were out in UCD over the last 2 days, DCU, DCU University, over the last 2 days, basically with a lot of the volunteers, and we were talking to a lot of the students out there. And basically this is an opportunity for a lot of young people as well, for anyone to be able to upload their pictures and be able to sell them and make money as well, because students can actually make money by selling their NFTs on this platform, but also a percentage should be given to impact initiatives. So regardless of what, there's always going to be a percentage given to impact initiatives that either they can choose, or else they can basically get behind Aunua and be part of the global community as well that we're building out. So the Roar community is the one we're building out. And this is where we're going to be bringing different voices for young people all together, all around the world, and really creating an inclusive world, a global citizenship where young people can be recognized and basically able to voice their what they want to do and what they want to achieve in this world, and really kind of encouraging young people to step up as leaders. Our world needs, really good leaders, and kindness and compassion, empathy, those sort of amazing skills that, are the most important ones. So there is a lot of uncertainty out there at the moment in the world. And I think we really need to start looking at how we're going to prepare our children for the future that's coming and that's happening.
Yeah, there's a real sense of working together with the children, and I love it because there's so much peer pressure and bullying and all that in the world at the moment, and especially with the youth. And there's a sense that this working and collaborating together, it's helping them practice that. So it seems to me that it will help to reduce all this bullying and the peer pressure. And children can be so cruel at times, and not through no fault of their own. Do you know what I mean? And it's really setting them up for being more appreciative and having more empathy. I heard you using that word quite a lot as well. Oh my God. Talk to us, Karina. There's a couple of things that I want to ask you as well. The school system. If there was one thing that you could change in the school system, what would that be for our children to help them prepare for our future?
Yeah. Okay. One thing.
So we've got to go for a few minutes left.
Okay.
You might need to get you back on for a part.
Yeah. You know what? I think that we need to start the core of all education. Like the school environment is the one place we'll have children all at the one place, all at the one time. And, it's a missed opportunity if we don't start looking at how we can start reimagining education. And it is going to take work, but I really think that, it has to start. It's totally outdated. It's not fit for for this world. It's not fit. Like we're looking at it at a totally different age, and we're looking at it at a totally different a totally different age. There's so much happening now.
So different than when I was growing up. So different. Never mind the economy and the world we're living on, and technology.
Technology. Well, this is the thing. Okay, so we're looking at AI, and the reality is it's happening now as we speak right now. There is going to be a lot of too fast. Well, we can't stop it now. So like jobs are going to change forever. Jobs are changing. They're going to change forever. There's going to be a lot of jobs going. That because a lot of the AI can take over the jobs that we actually have now. And like this is the elephant in the room that is like kind of daunting, but really kind of continuing down the road of kind of giving our children information that's regurgitated and is never going to be used in down the line is really to be honest, it's if we don't start looking at changing the school environment, the system, and having happy children. I think what's the most important thing in schools is that we actually have a curriculum that actually supports happiness in children. And that should be the core emphasis of our educational system. It should be about having children going to school, looking forward to going to school, and feeling that they're in a place that they're going to learn about kindness and the really soft skills that are going to help them to step up and be able to be inspired to be able to make a difference in this world. That's the kind of world that we need right now. And we,
and when they're living from that place, Karina, they've so much power, right? And they're not afraid. They're not afraid of like what we have fear about some things, but it's so important that we align with what it is that we truly makes us happy, because from happiness comes so many great opportunities, and we're aligned with our authentic self, and we're just driven then, we're just driven for what it is that we want and what we want to create in the world, rather than focusing on, oh, look at all these terrible things that happened to me, look at the lack of stuff that I have in my life. We're really focused on being driven on creating stuff, creating a new world, basically, right? And that's what happiness brings. Our children are our new leaders of this world, and there's so much going on, even technology, everything's moving really fast, and we're not adapting quick enough. So I really agree with what you're saying, about the schools and helping our children to be happy. That's so important.
Yeah, absolutely. Yes, absolutely. I think
much we could
talk forever. I know we're probably well over our time now.
We are. And I really just we wanted to talk about the curriculum, the schools, a little bit about technology. I mean, we've talked about your programs and your initiatives and all that you have going on, and I just love the work that you're doing, Karina, because it's so important that our children are seen and heard. We heard that saying years ago, children should be seen and heard, or whatever that the saying from years
ago. Not heard,
terrible. Being not heard, be quiet and sit in the corner and be good and say nothing, and then they were rewarded for saying nothing, and they were shut down, and that's very, very damaging. So it's really important that we recognize that and break that pattern now, so we can break that pattern going forward, because our children, whoever they become as adults, they're setting the stage for their children and their children and their children and so on. So we need to break the pattern now. And we are adaptive creatures. We can adapt to new environments. That's how we were created. And and this is the message that you're putting out there, and for the change, and to be aware of it, to be aware of what's going on, and really empower children. I just love the work you're doing, Karina. Where can people find you? What's your website, Karina?
Thank you so much, Joanne, for the opportunity. And I hope that I've said something that might help encourage and inspire somebody out there. But I think it'd be really great to have any of the families that want to come on board and help give their children an opportunity to be part of the Positive Vibe movement. It's a really exciting one. I really think that it'd be.
Is that on your website?
So we've actually got positivevibesglobal.com is actually where you'll actually find out more about the campaign we're running. And we actually recorded with 12 children here in Ireland with a musician that used to sing in the Commodores many years ago, a very big artist, and he came to record here this song, and these 12 kids in Ireland actually integrated, sang the chorus for Positive Vibes, and it was integrated into the song, and we're creating an animation. We're also, the song has gone live now, and it's an amazing, really Irish kind of, I like the fact that it's kind of it sounds like a very Irish song, but it's not. But it's got it's just a really great song, Positive Vibes. But the movement in itself and the campaign is really to involve all children to participate, because it's really important that we find outlets and ways that we can really encourage young people to express themselves through creativity. And this is the start of the campaign, the movement, which is positivevibesglobal.com. And this will give the kids an opportunity to see what the campaign, see what it's all about, and see how they can be part of the change too. If we can shift something in our kids now at the moment, if we can just start shifting them in a way that they feel more valued and that they have a purpose, they have important, and they're part of something way bigger. And they actually can then become part of like our hero community. It's like our Aunua Heroes community. And like each child that contributes will become a hero, because this is the start of their kind of impactful journey. Because if they submit a picture, they'll make an impact in the world, and they'll make a difference. That child that's sitting in a refugee camp somewhere that feels that they're not important, they're not valued. Let's change this, and let's see how we can get the Western world behind this campaign. And let's get our kids thinking that they know that they have a value and a purpose in this world, because that's the greatest thing, that's the greatest shift we'll have when we talk about mental health. It's really about empowering our kids and giving them a platform to share and shine and be part of something that they can feel proud of. I think that's really important. So
it really is a gift. It really is a gift, given empowering our children. It's a gift, and just allowing them to be themselves. I really hear your enthusiasm, your passion, your strong message, Karina. I will certainly be sharing that website too on my talks, and I'm speaking to a school now later on this evening, so I'll be sharing that with all the school. I've done a couple of talks in my local schools here in the community, and I have another one now in about 3 weeks' time, so I'll be sharing that with them all.
Thank you so much, Joanne. It's been a pleasure to talk to you as usual.
Yeah,
I'm so inspired by the work you do, and you're just amazing as well. So,
and all this will help families sleep better. It's so great. Thank you, Karina.
Thank you.
Yeah, really do.
And thank you for the work you're doing too. And thanks for everybody for listening in today. So appreciate it.
We have your websites and we put them all in the show notes. And Karina, listen, I think we will have to get you on maybe in a few months' time just to see what you're up to, and maybe close to time for the Positive Vibes launch in August as well.
Yeah.
If that's okay. And because there's loads more that we can talk about and just have a conversation around. But Karina, we'll leave it there. Really appreciate your time. Thank you for your acknowledgements of me as well. I do really appreciate that. It's so important that families can thrive and live a happy life, because then they'll sleep better at night time. And we know sleep is so important for many aspects of life, including our mental health. And our teenagers and our children need to sleep well for all their development and their emotional development and all that as well. So with that, Karina, thank you so much. Have a wonderful day.
Thank you too. Bye.
I do hope you are enjoying these conversations, and to help me continue pushing these videos and audio podcasts together, I do have an ask. I do need support to help me to keep bringing you knowledge and insights. There is a Patreon link, patreon.com/empowering family health, or you can make a donation via PayPal. All the links are in the description and the pinned comment. You can do a one-off or you can do a monthly support. So I'd really appreciate that. Thank you and have a wonderful day. Take care.